All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in here today. It's, again, a synthetic Monday, but it's a short week. That's the good news, right? Let's take a look and see how these markets are shaping up for us, and we'll get to our next guest analyst. Let's talk about corn for a second. Corn is, we were off a little bit more than this last time, so we've come back a tad. We're off a penny right now in July. 463 3/4 is last, and that's 2.5 cents from the low. And I'm going to say about 7 1/4 cents from the high. All right, so we bounced back here a little bit. We've got new crop D's. We were trying to get up to that $5 level. Oof, 486 3/4 is last. That's 2 1/4 cents off the low of the day right now. And we're well off the high by about 6 1/4 cents. We're 1.5 cents lower. That's D stands at 486 3/4. From corn, we go to beans. Beans are lower too. We've got some double-digit losses here. 14 3/4 cents lower in that July. 12.33 1/4 is last, and that's about what? 2 1/4 cents off the low of the day, well off the highs by about, I'm going to call that, let's see, not quite 22 cents-ish. No, that's new crop. That's down a dime to 12.09 1/2. And again, I hate to say it, the high of the day is 16 cents ago, 12.25. But we've got, that $12 line back in play again, folks. All right, let's take a look and see what wheat's got for us. Wheat in Chicago. Chicago wheat's up a dime up front. That's July. 707 1/4 is last, but still about 13 cents off the high of the day. And I'm going to say, we can call it about 16 cents from the low, maybe. No, that's 14 cents from the low. There you go. Let's go out to the Dees. That's 9 cents better there. 748 1/4 is last. Dees wheat in Chicago. All right, that's moving on from the Dees wheat in Chicago to the hard red. We had the highs were set earlier overnight, and we've kind of drifted off. We're 16 cents better again in that July hard red in Kansas City. 737 1/4 is last, and that's 9 cents off the high of the day and about 15 from the low, right? So we're making a little bit of move back higher here as we speak. Good double-digit gains in the hard red of Kansas City wheat. Dees is up 14 1/4 cents. 767 1/2 is last there, and that's about 8 cents off the high of the day there. We can call that 14.5 cents from the low. All right, how about that? That's hard red in Kansas City. Let's move on to the spring wheat in Minneapolis. 4 3/4 cents better, and that July contract is 757 1/2. And then we're about a dime off the high of the day and 5 cents off the low. All right, that's what's going on in spring wheat. Dees is up 5.5 cents to 782 1/2, and again, that's about 8 cents from the high, and we can call that 6 cents from the low. All right, so that's what we got going on there. Cotton, let's take a look at that. This is making a move, 214 points better now to 82.66. We had been a lot higher. We had been about 40, 50 points higher. But the Dees, that's 112 points better to 79.13. Want to see an 80 in front of that. That's conveniently the only contract that does not have an 8 in front of it, believe it or not. Let's bring in our next guest analyst, Mr. Ben Hushon. He's with the mill. Thank you very much, sir, for being on. There you go. There's a nice backdrop. There's a man outstanding in his field. How about that? There you go.
Good morning.
What do you got for us, brother?
Good morning, Scott. Well, just update on what's happened in our community the last 7 days. We had a pretty nice dry spell. I didn't grab any pictures this week, unfortunately, of hay being rolled up or square baled, but it was a very good last 7 days to do that. We had some storms. The other side, Scott, very unseasonably warm. We were probably 85 degrees almost every day the last week. And I apologize if the camera is shaking a little. That's how strong the winds are. We had a little bit of wet weather. It wasn't much passed through here last night. And boy, it is windy today, but clear. And whether you can tell behind me or not, but some of the earlier planted corn has reached V4, V5. And in our geography, that means it's time to get that second application of nitrogen on. We're pretty much all in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. And we learned probably 15 years ago, split applying nitrogen gains us yield, which also helps prevent some of it from getting in the water. And this time of year, once corn gets to this point, this V4, V5, maybe even V6, we'll start running nitrogen models and start putting on nitrogen depending on what that crop needs to finish it out here in late May.
Yeah, well, looks like things are okay, and I mean, just by the picture, I'm going to guess that you're probably pretty much all done there, right? There's not a lot left to do.
Well, we ran into 2 weeks of wet weather, Scott, and I wouldn't have to go very far, probably right across the street honestly, and we could find corn that has not emerged yet. So we have a wide gap, a little bit wider than we're used to here, but that's all right.
Yep.
When you're dealing with Mother Nature, these things happen. But the first planting of corn has most of it, and beans have survived slugs. When you go about 30 minutes west of where I'm standing, a lot of corn and beans, or a significant amount, has had to be replanted or slug bait put on. We've gotten through that. As I said, last week, Mother Nature sent us sunny and warm, and that allowed a lot of these crops to outgrow the slugs and get in gear.
Sure
But
does.
there is still probably 20% of the crop has either not emerged or that was just planted last week.
All right. Great stuff as usual. Really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. That's Ben Hushon. He's with the mill. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more livestock with me right after this.